lives are great. Something I never heard my radio say. Black lives are precious, black lives are great. Something I never see my TV say. But since I know you never heard it,
What up, everybody? It's the Love First Podcast. It's your boy, Kata, John.
It's your boy, Wraith. He in the building.
Yeah, we got baby Wraith in the building, making a guest appearance.
got baby Wraith in the building. Staring at the Dragon Ball images right now.
Oh, that's my favorite hoodie, son. I want that for my birthday. Yeah, man. We're trading the Kata Don shirt for the Dragon Ball Z hoodie.
Yo, baby Wraith just left me. Nigga ran upstairs.
Oh, man. He said he need a bigger check. All right, we got him. Sponsors coming soon. Let's get into it, man, because we doing a special. We had to get together to drop a special episode just because there's so much talk and chattering going on. As soon as we logged on, we actually had more breaking news. Let's just kick it with that.
Yeah.
So what did you tell me as soon as I got on? I just heard the audio.
New Joe Budden. New Joe Budden.
Oh
man. I've heard some news like Joe Budden. You know what I'm saying? He not doing no more episodes with Rory and Moore. I guess he kind of broke it off with them. And I listened to it because like I guess he put like a clip of him explaining it. He put the full video on Patreon. But I guess somebody like took a clip of it and had posted it on Twitter. So I was listening to a little bit of it. And I think he's saying like, as far as I think they wanted more ownership of his brand, and he wasn't going for that. And it kind of started off with the Spotify deal. I think Rory had came to him, and it was something along the lines of like, what are we gonna get out of this? And Rory also wanted, I guess Rory also wanted a percentage of what he was making off his YouTube channel. I guess it had a lot to do with ownership, and he was saying like on the podcast that like they're filled with too much entitlement, and they're not really trying to branch off and do their own thing. And he had told more on countless occasions to try and start your own podcast and your own show, but to still have the foundation that we have. Still do these episodes here, but branch off and do your own thing, which I feel like that's a very accurate thing to say. They could have made their own YouTube channels. I don't think they have their own YouTube channels, but he wanted them to. He wanted them to have their own stream of revenue. He did say he also said on the episode that he posted on Patreon that they was actually getting a good amount of money. From the Joe Budden podcast, like, compared to a lot of, other podcasts, compared to a lot of other podcasters, they was getting, a good amount of money. You know what I'm saying? So, I get why he did it. I get why he broke it off with them. Now, as far as him doing it on live, I don't know if he fired them on I think that's crazy.
Now, the clip I just heard, we're going to play for the fans. It sounded like he was live on the podcast. I'm pretty sure they knew, but he probably, did the announcement.
I watched the last episode of them working together before the thing happened. You could kind of feel the tension. You could kind of see like the relationship like unfolding, because like there was a lot of tension there, and there wasn't like the chemistry that they had in the beginning. When they had started off, you could kind of see it like how it's dwindling there, before everything broke off. But he was right though. He gave them opportunity. It is called the Joe Budden podcast. I'm gonna just keep it a buck.
Yeah.
It's called the Joe Budden podcast. You know what I'm saying? If all I know is me, like if I'm putting Kobe, see, even Kobe pissed off about it.
Yeah,
if I'm put in a situation like that, I'm gonna try my hardest to try and branch off and create something of my own entity while still maintaining that. I'm gonna still be on the Joe Budden podcast. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna still get my little check from there, but I'm gonna use that money that he's giving me to fund my own thing. And I think that's important.
Yeah.
I think, and we've talked about that. You know what I'm saying? Like having multiple streams of revenue. You gotta have multiple streams of revenue. You can't just go to one guy. Check. You know what I'm saying? Like that's your own. Like that's all your dependable income. You know what I'm saying? Like when you look at it from that perspective, I understand why he did that.
Yeah.
As far as him doing it on live,
crazy. Yeah,
I don't know that's kind of crazy. But you know how Joe Budden is.
Yeah, I mean, just from my view, because obviously they had an issue, but they were off for a few weeks. And then he had other people sitting in those seats, and he's like, you know, those seats are ready for you when you come back. Then he actually brought them back, and even when I was watching that episode, you know, I figured it was gonna be like 10 minutes, but they just kind of addressed, you know, what the issue was, and then kind of move forward. It ended up being for over an hour on the podcast. So what it looked like to me is there was still unresolved issues just by the way the conversation was going and and everyone not understanding each other's perspective. So I mean, I figured they were working through it, and then I just got the alert right now before we did our podcast that that's what's going on. The biggest thing that stood out to me from what Joe Budden said was not only necessarily necessarily like doing your own thing, but he was just like, as far as advertisers and sponsors, bring them to the table. He's like, if you bring this to the table, you're gonna eat differently. You know? Like you bring this to the table, you're gonna eat differently. And he's like, they haven't brought any. He's like, they haven't like legal people call this person and that person trying to get more ownership and this and that and get more cut of the pie, but they're not bringing the sponsors and advertisers.
Yeah, and that's what he was saying. He's saying you can't ask for more cut of the pie. You can't ask for my brand because like let's keep it a buck. Like how you want money off his YouTube channel when it wasn't always a podcast at first. He was an artist first. And you know how the YouTube revenue streams work now. So he's probably making some money off his music. He probably still making some money off his music. Yeah. How do you want a piece of that when you came in during the podcast time? Like, he started making more money off his YouTube because of the podcast. But you can't just say, yo, I feel like I should be getting a piece of this when you're not bringing something else to him, that when you're not bringing more business ventures to him, basically. You know what I'm saying?
Or even I wouldn't even say to him, I would say more like to the table in general. Because
more to the table,
everyone could be partners, but if you're not, because I met a lot of people like that, they just want to be partners and not bringing nothing to the table.
Exactly. And the thing is like, if I'm bringing all the opportunities, if I'm bringing all the opportunities to the group, and y'all coming to me and saying, yo, I feel like I should be getting more. You gonna look at him like, should you be getting more? And the thing is, me personally, I feel like they was getting paid enough already. He didn't give a specific amount, but the details that he was touching on, he was making it seem like they're already getting paid good. You know what I'm saying? And the whole Spotify thing, the reason why that didn't work out is because Spotify, it was like, listen, we'll give you this money, but this is a Joe Budden podcast. And the fact that he didn't take that because he wants his group to shine just as much as him, you know, for y'all to try and reverse it on him and say, well, I feel like I demand this. He could have took that Spotify deal and dubbed y'all.
And I think a lot of insecurities. So to me, it seems like the biggest issue was with Joe Budden and Rory. But Mal kind of, I think that from my perspective, like, you know what I'm saying? And they always we're speaking of grown men, but we have a podcast. So from my perspective, is that Mal had insecurities by himself. Like, yo, if he easily gets rid of Rory, that could be me, you know? And I've seen so many people that move in an insecure fashion where you're so worried about it being you that you lose the position instead of, hey, so to solidify my position, let me bring some more to the table. Let me bring more
Let
to
me,
the table.
let me
Instead of
learn.
bringing more, they're like, I'm gonna stand by this, so we can team up, and this won't happen. It won't work like that.
The thing is too, well, the part that got, when he was talking, the part that got me was when he said these dudes never made a YouTube channel. I'm like, y'all been working for 4 or 5 years together. Y'all don't have a YouTube channel? If that was me and you, let's say me and you was in that position with Joe Budden. I'm coming to you and I'm saying, yo, we starting our thing on the side. So that it could get to the point where Joe Budden's podcast is at.
Multiple streams of income.
I'm taking full advantage of that. I'm taking full advantage of all that exposure I'm getting. The fact that y'all didn't have a YouTube channel, nothing to fall back on. Unless and I'm like, yo, no wonder he stopped working with them. Because you're not willing to learn more. You're not willing to learn more to bring more.
Yeah. And the biggest thing was, I think, my perspective again, is just that Joe Budden was willing to work with them with all of that, even though he wanted to encourage, because he feels like that'll expand his platform, the fact that they can have more fans and followers, because it is heavily leaning on Joe Budden. Like, he was on Love and Hip Hop, even without the music, he was one of the first people to just be with a camera, filming his girl, going through like interesting stuff, recording life, and making a YouTube channel a channel. So when you ask for ownership just because of your presence, instead of bringing more to the table, that touches me, and that's what I'm seeing. Until I hear something different from them, what I'm hearing is they want more ownership without bringing something to the table. Like, you have Joe Budden's platform.
Exactly.
You can actually bring sponsorships off the fact that you have Joe Budden's platform. You know what I mean?
This is what I'm saying.
Make a call.
Bro,
I can get Joe Budden to sign off on this too. Let's,
bro, you've been with this man for 4 years. You gotta have something on the side. This man is almost at 1 million subs on YouTube with that podcast. You gotta have something on the side to push yourself and to push and to keep pushing his brand that you're a part of.
Yeah.
You don't have nothing on the side.
and they might happen? Behind the scenes, they may do certain things on the side, but to really bring someone on the table, you have to do something in front of the scenes for the followers. Because in the industry, I think they have like different side hustles, but to build fans, to build a following, you gotta build. So I relate to that. Like, even how I deal with producers, one, because I produce myself, so I co-produce. So my relationship with every producer too, this rarely ever happens where a producer does the whole beat without me. If you do, I do the lyrics and the flow. I don't ask for help. If you do the beat, you don't ask for help. Once I give you $1 or more for the beat, it is no 50-50 partnership. It is not. Because one, you did this without no help. I did this without no help. So now when more comes from my side, there is no 50-50 partnership. I had to stop working with certain people, and certain people learn to accept it. Now we can build and do better things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because now, if things pop, you're going to sit back. I've done tracks and albums and stuff like that where the producers get money up front and all of this. They have a nice little back end, and they just sit back and let the artist do all the work. You know what I mean? So that really touches me, because if you do, and it's super rare ever that a producer does something 100% without me and I just take it. It is rare occasion. But let's say it is, I don't help you with the beat. Once I put $1 towards you, once I put 100, 200, 300,000, whatever the case is, it cannot be a 50. It's not a partnership. It's no longer a partnership. Because now,
yo, you realize if I was in that position, I'd have had so much stuff set up. Like, remember me talking about the Patreon? I'd have had my own Patreon. I'd have my own YouTube channel. I would have had my own content. Like, I would have had different content for every social media platform. Like, bro, like, I'm just like, yo, like, I get it. I get it, bro. Like, I get it, man.
I mean, it's crazy. You hate to see people break up because you want to be inspired by seeing a long-standing relationship. So in that aspect, it sucks to see the breakup. But if you want more, instead of asking for more, get more.
And the fact that
more to the table where it's undeniable that
yeah,
if you step away, look, I brought all of this to the table. Do you want to lose all that? Right now, Joe Budden feels like he's not losing much. Besides the fact that the fans are used to seeing them. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So you got to bring one like that. Don't live in insecurity. I see some people play insecure role. They lose the position they're afraid of losing because they were insecure the whole time instead of doing what you need to do. I don't be insecure. I'm like, I'm going to bring it to the table. If you decide that you take my talents to South Beach, you know what I mean? Like straight up.
My name is I'm Kaden Dodd. I decided I'm gonna take my talents to South Beach. Enjoy the Miami Heat.
I'm telling you. Oh man.
Yo, I think that's very important what you said, because a lot of people they get so stuck in their head instead of, and he even mentioned it too. It's crazy how you mentioned that, because he even mentioned it like they didn't look at the bigger picture. And how many times me and you always talking about that? It's not about you. It's about the bigger picture, bro.
Right.
Yo, Joe Budden be watching our podcast, bro.
Tell you,
Joe
Budden. Rory, you are in breach of your contract, and from this point forward, you are fired, and you're not welcome back. Does anybody in here have a problem that I'm the person that has to say that? No. Mo, I'm the person that has to say that.
Yeah. And I didn't even get to see this whole clip. You said it's like that's so loud. I just heard like 92 minutes before we got on here, so I at least know what's going on. But yeah, we'll keep y'all updated. I'm interested in seeing what Rory and Mal have to say, because there are more sides to the story. But just our perspective based on what we heard, that's how we feel. We're gonna give it to the truth, you know?
Yes, sir.
Let's talk Floyd Mayweather, Paul, and Jake Paul. I got your hat.
Yo, I'm about to order me a hat.
So, as some of you may know, Floyd Mayweather is fighting Logan Paul on June 6th, right? And they're supposed to be fighting, but Jake Paul has been supportive of his brother, so he's been at the press conferences. And Floyd Mayweather's been pushing it. I could beat y'all both the same night. It sounds like he does want to set up a fight with Jake Paul. They had a press conference. I think Jake Paul did something weird too, like before then, like untied Floyd Mayweather's shoes while he was on stage. Just like somewhere.
Jake is crazy, man. Like, Jake is crazy, but he a marketing genius though.
Yeah, he a marketing genius, and from what I'm hearing is he had the idea. So behind the scenes, after the press conference, behind the scenes, they were kind of face to face talking junk to each other, and then at some point, Jake Paul grabbed the hat off of Floyd Mayweather's head.
Got your hat.
Started running. Said, "Got your hat." Floyd Mayweather and his bodyguards kind of chased him down, threw some punches. I heard most of the punches really came from the bodyguards. But we have some footage of that, so we'll play that.
Sir. Get the paperwork for this ball.
Get Al Hammond.
Absolutely. I don't need Al Hammond.
Let me call Al Hammond.
I'm my own boss. I'm my own boss.
One night. Got your hat. Got your hat. Got your hat.
Chill.
But so my first aspect was like, man, is this a setup, right? Just for like a fight. But I see Floyd Mayweather's like voice and his action, and I don't think he's that good of an actor. You know what I'm saying? I think he can be entertaining, but you can kind of hear it in his voice, like, yo, I killed him. I never disrespected you like that. You know, and it was, Logan admitted that Jake Paul, and this would kind of tell me is maybe it wasn't planned, because Logan said that Jake came up to him and was like, look, I want to take his hat, you know, da-da-da. Logan's like, yo, just chill, don't go that far. But Jake ended up doing it anyway, and then he had hats for sale the next day. Got your hat, on a hat, you know, just violent.
The funny
what
thing
shit
is,
you on, man?
the funny thing is, I seen a video like the build up towards him like getting ready to take his hat off.
Yeah,
He was walking up to these big brolic dudes, and he
yeah.
was like, "Yo, you Floyd security?" And they was like, one of them was like, "Nah," and the other one was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah, I'm Floyd security." He's like, "Okay." He's like, he's sizing dudes up before he getting ready to take Floyd's hat off because he knows what's about to happen.
You gotta know it's so good.
All right, but nah, like, yo, I'm not, yo, when he took his hat and just started dipping off, I'm like, yo, this is typical Jake, bro.
Yeah.
Like he's a troll. He's trying to get a reaction out of you. And then he's gonna market off that reaction. he's gonna market off like it's like a blueprint for every single situation he gets into. It's just like he is like, I'm gonna troll you, and then I'm gonna troll you so hard, I'm gonna get a reaction out of you, and then I'm gonna market myself off of that reaction. And that's the reason why he is who he is.
I respect the marketing, not the trolling. Because, you know, some people just troll to be a hater and then don't make any money. So at least he flips it into money. But personally, I don't know if I can do business with you because I'm going to need my space and I want to stay a Christian man. And like you doing certain things like that, you know, it's a test of faith. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not with, I used to see, you know, people like that playing, like I wasn't that one. Like don't.
Now let me ask you this, from a boxing perspective.
Yeah.
Do you think Logan has any chance against Floyd?
Absolutely not. Jake Paul's a better boxer than Logan, and I seriously doubt Jake Paul has a chance. Like it's just gonna have to be like Floyd Mayweather like catches the flu, he has a bad day, his body's hurting.
Why do you think? Okay, why do you think Jake has a better? Why do you think Jake would have a better chance than Logan?
I mean, one, you know, his record's obviously better, but it does seem Jake Paul is more disciplined in the sport. You know, he seems like he has a real passion. He wants to get to it. Like, you know, he versed the UFC fighter. I didn't really like that last fight, but he was more disciplined than somebody that was fighting their whole life. And you could tell by like the body. And even Jake, you know, said it to me. And it was in my mind. But what Jake said was, "Yo, look at the way look at the shape that he came in. Like he's not even taking it seriously. Like I don't even mess with him just on that. You know what I mean? Like that kind of shows you discipline. That you get disappointed and frustrated. Your competition didn't come disciplined. Anybody else just getting for a bag would be like, yo, all right, he ain't in shape. I'm about to catch him. Like he's like, oh, like you serious? Like So, I think he's
that makes sense.
You know. And but weight matters too. Like what are the weight rules? Because they're like way taller than him. They're all different weights. So I'm really trying to understand what the weight rule is.
I don't know how much Logan weighs. I know Jake is probably like somewhere within like the 190s, I believe. I know Floyd does not weigh 190, so
you probably gotta get a lot to get to like 160. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I mean, I think a luck, you know, boxing doesn't really believe in lucky punches, but one punch can change the fight, you know. So if you do get the right punch, if Floyd were to go in maybe a little too cocky, I don't think with Logan, but maybe with Jake. But if he were to go in a little too cocky, then maybe, you know, if you're unfocused and someone's just trying to get you, you know what I'm saying? It's like the turtle and the rabbit race. Like, the rabbit should be winning, but if the rabbit get cocky and you just playing around like I'm racing the turtle,
the turtle gonna win.
Exactly. But if Mayweather's going in like, I'm going to do this, you know, a lot of boxing fans have said that he's even given them the opportunity because they haven't worked for it and put the time in. But I do respect that Floyd is like, I put him at work in the boxing. I could get 100 mil first in these people rather than facing somebody that really boxing. You know?
That's true.
So he's getting that bag.
So you know, Floyd's all about the money moves, man.
Money.
money. Yeah. Okay.
So let's keep it going, man. So there's a big debate going on, of course, Republican and Democrats, right? And I encourage people, be independent thinkers, because everyone wants to go to Republican Democrats. I'll be on like CNN and Fox News in the comment section going back and forth with each side, like, yo, think for yourself. Let's start with the unemployment debate.
Okay.
Right? So a lot of I don't know a lot. Well, we'll say the more Republican side is coming out the fact they feel like Democrats are incentivizing staying home. These these business owners are struggling to get help wanted, and there's help wanted signs everywhere, and all these small businesses need help. Then I seen a show they're talking about McDonald's. I was like,
Yeah,
one, that's not a small business, so that's kind of weird.
yeah,
But two, the first thing that I said was y'all talking about all these businesses that need help. Well, let's
yeah,
talk about a livable wage. It's like we want to avoid that conversation, but we want to talk about businesses need help and then they're feeling for these people and that. So the first thing that I commented is because we have a nice following for our podcast, a nice following on social media. I was like, well, tell me a place that's paying a livable wage. I would say 50,000 or more. I even dropped it down to 40,000. I ain't responsible, and we will promote it and we will help you get those spots filled ASAP. There will be no help on it. They're like, oh, well, it's not those type of jobs. Well, what are y'all talking about? So y'all are feeling for adults to come back to minimum wage, and y'all are upset because one, unemployment is not paying you something where like you can just go start buying houses like that.
oh
You're gonna do it
no,
for the rest of your life, and it also
oh
has a limit.
no,
Everyone
yeah,
keeps
it's a
acting
limit.
like unlimited. This is not
Yeah,
gonna end. So it has a limit. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And first of all, we're still in a pandemic, right? These
yeah,
vaccines just came out. We don't know the long term effects. It hasn't even been a year. So I can understand if some people are not going out there like that. And a lot of people on this are mothers, right? A lot of people on this
yeah,
pandemic are women that are staying home with their children, you know.
yeah,
So I get that aspect for it and the reluctancy of just if you did have a minimum wage job, just going back out there. Because Republicans were fighting hard to not increase the minimum wage. Now, I believe that there's a compromise. I don't believe in the straight Democratic way how they want to do it. I believe we can do it more incremental, but we need to make it happen where it's a livable
do you
wage.
do you feel like the fact that everybody is staying at home and they can get money without going to work, do you think that's helping or hurting, like in the long run?
So what I think it's doing is it's forcing people and companies. So
Mhm.
because all right, so it's supply and demand works for everything, right? So if there's a labor
Right,
shortage, that means the labor price has to go up. When there's a shortage, supply
right,
and demand, that means there's little
yeah,
supply and more demand. You have the
yeah,
increased price. So one, I'm
yeah,
not saying that much prices increasing prices, wages and stuff increasing like that. So to
yeah,
me, that doesn't really show me a labor shortage until we actually see the labor prices increasing, what they're trying to
right,
pay. So
right,
I do think that more than that, I would think if it was a long term thing, right? Because it's supposed to end, September or whatever the case may be. I just know it's not supposed to go past. So
right,
how I
right,
do view it is these companies that are complaining, you need to pay more, right? Because most of these people on unemployment are not teenagers or early college students, right? Those are the only people that should be
mhm,
making minimum wage. Those are the people that you're just getting a taste of the job experience and getting in it, but you're not looking for that to take care of the rest of your life. You should have family members and this and that that's helping you. As an
yeah,
adult, that does
yeah,
not work.
yeah,
The CEOs of all these companies are making a
absolutely,
whole lot more money. If they do a cut at corporate, you can pay these people so they don't have to be minimum
right,
wage.
absolutely,
Just like New York
absolutely,
raised their minimum wage, and there's a lot of companies, right? They're paying 15 an hour. And there's a lot of companies that in New York paying more, and they have stuff across the country. Across
hmm,
the country, they have the exact same company. They're not paying more. But when the state did it and said you have to increase it, these companies were able to do it and stay in business and still be profitable.
hmm,
So
hmm. So it's
that kind of
possible.
yeah. So that kind of tells me that you need to make things work to make it more profitable for your people. People say, "Oh, small businesses they can't do that, this and that." Well, all right, and if that's the mentality, we're really trying to help them. Then why not pay them less than minimum wage? Why not give them $2 and then every small business can open up? Or we can have a standard that you're not ready to open your business till you can give employees a living wage.
That's
Your business
that's a
shouldn't be
very
because
that's
if
a
you're just
very
trying to
good
take care
point.
of clients and yourself and not your employers, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I definitely feel like if you're working at a place, like if you're a college student or you're a young teenager, I feel like minimum wage is a good place for you to start off at. you know, get your feet wet into like the corporate, you know, working realm. But once you reach a certain age where reality hits you and you have a lot of responsibilities, you're gonna demand more. Now my thing is, my thing is, right? Let's say the job description you have. Let's say you don't. Let's say the job that you work at, you know, you only know how to do this, this, and this, and that's the bare minimum, and that's all you can do, and and they're paying you based on what you can do. As a person that wants more out of minimum wage, should you be demanding more if you're only doing the bare minimum?
Mhm. So, and that's a good point because even a lot of points that's kind of similar to that was they're like,
Yeah,
well, if they want to get more, they gotta have degrees and this and that, you know,
right,
things of that.
right.
So my only counter to that thought process is
Yeah,
you're the one screaming help right now.
yeah,
You're
right,
screaming help.
right.
If
Hmm.
you're screaming help and you're
Yeah,
complaining about okay, unemployment government assistance, you're none of these people that are complaining have not received government assistance. The people that get the most
yeah.
government assistance are corporations. They are the
Hmm.
business. Just like when the
Right.
pandemic hit and
Hmm.
everyone got their $1,200 stimulus check, companies got bigger stimulus checks. They got
Hmm.
bigger loans that you don't have to pay back.
Yeah,
They got all of this. It's not even close
yeah,
because they believe in something called trickle down economics. So
yeah.
these people that keep saying, "Oh, government assistance," they be the first to take it. When the stock market
Right.
crashes, they be the first to take it. Now
Absolutely.
you're
Yeah,
screaming for help. The only
yeah.
people screaming for help are minimum wage jobs. I have not, and I put this out there. If there's a job paying
Hmm.
a livable wage, 40K or more, let's say you bring it down to 35K. Let us know. We will help get those positions filled because we know a bunch of people that would love to take advantage.
And 30, and listen, let me just say this, like 35K, like if you're making that while you're young,
Mhm.
that's fine. But
Yeah.
as you get older and you can't work those hours like that, that becomes not fine.
Yeah, once you have a
35K a year,
dependent, you have a kid.
yeah, yeah, that becomes not fine.
Mhm.
So that's only fine to a certain degree. Then what happens after that? You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I agree with your points. I agree with your points. Those are very valid points.
Because
You
these
know.
jobs, and there's jobs that pay over 50K that don't require a degree. Guess what? They are not screaming help. They are not fiending. They are getting people ASAP. The
Hmm.
people that are making livable wages, they're not taking a second look at unemployment. They're like, if they're on there for a second, they're like, I gotta get off this. I gotta get back to the bag. Like
Right.
this is not the bag. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's not to discourage anybody because I know I was speaking with someone, you know, in the comments and going back and forth, and they were like, "Oh, well, I make 800 on Social Security. What do you mean that's not a living wage?" I was like, "Well, one, where do you live? And two, do you have any children or dependents? Right? Because
Hmm.
$800 a month. If you live in New York, a one bedroom average is like $1,200 a month. That's not
Yeah.
cutting on your lights. That's not eating. That's not having
You better you better bring out the scented candles.
You're not even making rent. You better. So
You better
you know
put the
what I'm
candles out.
saying? Like it's so real, and a lot of schools are still closed because it's not safe. I think a lot of things are opening not because we have these vaccines, but because everyone to boost back the economy. Right? That's why there's a hard push more than anything. Um,
Yeah.
Now, what we also have to look at is the fact that if you really, let's say, if it's completely hard for you to do the livable wage, let's
Yeah.
do compromises. Let's say, let's get some more paid time off, right? So they can be
Yeah.
with their family. You know what I mean? Let's
Yeah.
work out more sick time. Let's work out more benefits with insurance or something to real bridge this gap. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? If you don't want to have to do a straight up wage, let's do something for insurance. Let's do that. But you treated these people like crap, and now you're
Hmm.
screaming help, and you're blaming the government for helping them. When to start your business, you probably got help. To keep your business going, you got help. When the pandemic hit, you probably got help.
Hmm.
If you
You
business
need,
that didn't get help, then you're
yeah,
not a good business person.
right. Like you have to understand, like the reason your business is up and running is because the people that are working for
Mm-hmm.
you. The people that are working for you are making sure your business is running while you out somewhere on a vacation, away from the corona. You know what I'm saying? Especially like all the essential workers or all the people that were working like at these retail stores that they didn't really consider essential workers. And I kind of got pissed off at that because I was like, well, if these people are coming to Walmart or something for supplies, then yes, I'm an essential worker because I'm in contact with these people. You feel me? So like, it's just people, the reason why your company is running, like you're the main reason why your company is running good, but also the people that are working for you are one of the main reasons why your company is running good. So you have to pay them better.
And I feel like there's a narrative being pushed too, right? Because like I said, most of these people on unemployment are mothers home with their kids, right? They're trying to push a narrative of all people are lazy, they're desensitized to go in and this and that. But no, you just want them to have no option. That's what you want. You want people to have no type of option, so they're forced to go to you for the least price possible. That's really what I'm saying from that is you want no option.
They want people to have no negotiation abilities. Like at all. Like this is non-negotiable. Like you have no choice but to come back because you have no other options. And mind you, like remember I talked about how like even if you're doing the bare minimum, should you deserve more? There are people with degrees that are getting unemployment. So there are people that have done more than the bare minimum. And guess what? They're on unemployment too. They can't find a goddamn job either.
I mean, it varies. It really does. And
so it ain't just somebody that doesn't have the experience or the degrees. Because people with the experience, and you can't even use that argument either. I asked you that question because I just wanted to challenge you just to see what you would say. But you can't even use that argument either because people with degrees and experience, they not getting hired either. They struggling too.
Yep. And it's because the livable wages don't have help wanted. They're like, oh, we're not going to pay this many people right now. We are full. Please go to your local places that are not paying livable wages. They turn it right around. You know what I'm saying? And then these places, these minimum wage places, they don't even want to, even with the minimum wage, they don't want to give 40-hour positions.
Nope.
Right? They want to use
everything's
you
when
they need you for their rush and then cut your hours in your room.
Everything's part-time or seasonal. And in this day and age we living in, I ain't got time for seasonal. Nobody got time for seasonal. Nobody got time for part-time. Nobody got time for me moving when you feel like I should move. You know what I'm saying? So it's ludicrous.
And I
like the way some of these people think is ludicrous.
Yeah. And even somebody responded to me, they were like, well, somebody should get like $50K for working on a burger joint. I was like, well, do you think it's possible for burger joints to make millions of dollars? McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, Five Guys, like
shut down.
The list goes on. You know what I'm saying?
And did he respond to you?
No.
Because you responded.
They're watching this podcast. So
because you challenged their intellect with a question because they wasn't thinking that. And this is what happens when you don't think that far ahead. Yeah. How much money you think McDonald's is making, my G? Yeah. How much money you think Pepsi making? They ain't making minimum wage money. Pepsi got their own commercial. Coca-Cola got their own commercial. McDonald's be paying LeBron.
Yeah. And shout out to Travis Scott, but let's keep it real. They're able to give millions of dollars to a music artist that is not flipping burgers for them. And they're able to give him millions of dollars just to step in and put his name on something. So what do you mean you can't pay that for? You know what I'm saying? And
so you're telling me you're not gonna pay the single father with the 2 kids that's flipping the burgers for 40 hours. He shouldn't get more? Nah, you give him like a 2-cent raise. What the hell is that going to do? What the hell is $1 raise going to do?
And their sons, right? Just like they said, they were saying help wanted signs everywhere. There's a bunch of signs on social media trending saying we have this job. We literally all have walked out because we're not treated right by the company. We're not
Exactly.
treated right. There's a bunch of those signs, and none of those are being addressed. I think that I do think that the unemployment situation presents a unique time that we have to address labor wages. And
Here's
if it's
another.
still a labor shortage,
Yeah.
the price is going to go up. If you want
Here's
your
another.
business to stay open, you're going to have to
Yeah.
pay to make money.
Exactly. Absolutely. Here's another thing too. Everybody can't be a freaking manager at a company. There's a chain of command, bro.
Yeah.
Everybody can't be a manager. So you can sit here and tell people, well, you know, you just don't want more for yourself. What if all the spaces at the manager position is filled? Then what am I supposed to do?
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Try and sabotage one of these niggas?
Ain't a bunch help on this manager side. I'm telling you.
Like, bro.
I was like, if there is, let us know. Oh, you know what I did see on the news that I thought was interesting? Is that they brought up, they're like, yo, I know this company, and they were actually just a dishwasher. They were paying $21 an hour to get dishwashers, and he couldn't get any help and support. Now, what I found strange about that was if you know a company doing that, why not mention their name on your news platform that you're on so they can get the support instantly? And I was like, and even if they don't get it from your news channel, if you tell us places like that, we know people that will fill those positions. It doesn't sound genuine to me. It doesn't sound real that these people are paying over the minimum wage and still not getting what they need.
Yep.
I know a bunch of people
Absolutely
that would sign up and do it.
Yep.
I would love to support and help. If you have a help wanted sign and you're looking for help and you're paying a livable wage, or you're willing to compromise something to give more so it's not the bare minimum. If you're not trying to get the bare minimum and you're screaming help, reach out to us. We will help promote that. We will help fill positions. We want to see businesses thrive. But if we go with mentality, they got to take this. And why do we have a minimum wage? We can have a million new small businesses if we pay them $2.
Yeah.
So let's kind of think about the mentality. Let's think about what's right. Let's do right.
And the thing is too, you're doing me a favor by hiring me, right? But I'm also doing you a favor by putting in hours for your company. Can we not forget that, please? God damn. Especially if I'm going hard, not taking days off, not using my PTO. Not, like, I know people like that. I know people that be going hard and they get treated like trash.
I managed at places where we have meetings and we have to just look at the numbers. We don't even look at employees. It's like, oh, the numbers, get rid of this, that. No hesitation, no questions asked because it doesn't directly affect them. They're like, oh, numbers, this and that. There is no specific care to make sure that they're good and no matter what their situation is at home, even how many times they put the work in. So
they don't care. It's numbers game.
That's what it is. While we're on this topic, let's talk about the voting debate, right?
Yeah.
So the debate is coming from the claim from Donald Trump last year.
Yeah.
And fraud in the election, this and that. And so a lot of Republicans have been taking an initiative to make stricter voting laws as far as ID and more. How the Democrats look at it is more hurdles and obstacles to get through the process, right? Now the Democrats are trying to control the voting more at a federal level because they see a lot of Republicans are doing that. Now there is supposed to be a separation between state and federal, but they do have power. Now let's keep it real. Before we dive into the debate, let's keep it real and be independent. Republicans, when you look at the statistics and facts, their demographics will go through these hurdles more than the Democratic person would, just off demographics, right? And they're just strictly not about election fraud, not about any of it. They want to get claim to power. Democrats obviously want to loosen up a little more because they can get more people in because their demographics do this. Let's keep it real and understand both sides. We cannot stop taking a side because none of these sides care about you. They're just claiming to power. Now, if we dive into it, let's talk about these voting laws and what's happening, right? Because I've had some debates with that, and they're like, "Oh, you don't need a photo ID in this state and that state." In California and New York stood out to me because I live in New York. I started doing some research on California. Now, I believe you should have a photo ID to vote, right? Now,
okay.
I'm looking at, they're saying, hey, states, you don't need ID, you can just vote. Da, da, da. It sounded bananas to me. So I know a lot of people just following this, like, oh, that's wrong. Anyone can vote. Undocumented people can vote, this and that. So I'm like, wait a minute. That sounds weird. Let's do some research and see what's going on. Now, before I get to the research of California, New York, my wife, right, we moved to a location about 2 years ago, a different county in New York, a different part of New York.
Right.
Now, she could not vote, even though we've been here, because they said you're not registered for this county.
Oh my God.
So she wasn't even able to vote because of this and that. So I think that anyone thinking that you can just vote and it's not tight, what I encourage you to do, and please tag us, is go to some place that you're not registered to vote, try to vote, put it on YouTube and expose it. And I'm pretty sure, now I'm not even gonna say what the conclusion would be, but try to do that because there is no system where you can just vote a bunch of times, you can just walk in and this and that. Now, New York and California, if you're not a first-time voter, they're not requiring photo ID at the booth, but you have to show some type of identification that this is who you are. You sign a signature, boom, that's it for your name. That's it.
So now, maybe like a passport.
Yeah, they're like passport, driver's license, whatever, utility bills, and then you mix things. Like New York has a point system, but they're like, oh, you can show your utility bill and you can do social security card and you can get that. So immediately, you know what I said? You know, that's what you give in to get an ID, right? So you're upset. The things that you use to get an ID is what they're directly taking at the voting booth. That you can't vote double. And if you can, instead of following what the mainstream news is saying, because they all have agendas, I encourage you to we will promote it. Because it should be fair voting. So if you can vote one,
absolutely.
And you can go to a place, like there was a whole list of states that they were saying, California and New York stood out to me. Come to New York and California and try to vote. Don't be a resident here. Try to vote. See how easy it is.
I'm about to pull up to like 4 different states and get 4 or 5 votes on my G.
Like we have to be smart about this. And yes, now I wouldn't mind if you have to show a photo at the voting booth, but if they take a utility bill and your social security card and you're signing a signature so you can't vote again, let's be smart enough to realize, hey guys, that's what you use to get a photo ID.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Please stop.
Yeah, it's ludicrous. Yeah, it's ludicrous. Stop listening to the news, both sides. They just have this habit of pushing a narrative, and people have a habit of just following the narrative instead of asking themselves, does this make sense? You know how you like to ask people a question?
Yes.
Like you don't give them a direct answer, you just ask them a question, and then you just defeat them like that. Defeat the narrative that these news medias are pushing with a question. Does this make sense? Let me go do my research. That's another thing people don't do. People don't do their research.
They don't. And we're in the age of Google, and right now, social media and Google are starting to put more restrictions on the search. But while it's still open, there's not enough restriction where you can't find out the information. Let's put it like that. We live in a world, a land of information. Why are you going to one source and just going gun home? Because people get so passionate. They go to their one source, they get passionate. Listen, if you follow Love First podcast, please look up what we're saying. And present us with counter stuff so we can grow. I'm down to grow. You know what I'm saying? But do the research. All of these people have PR. All these people do marketing. They're not going in there just saying what they think. They have a team they present it like this.
Exactly.
They don't love you.
And if you don't follow the PR, the PR person gonna be looking at you like, yeah, we didn't tell you to say that.
Facts.
And if you are gonna look at either Fox News or CNN, watch both of them, bro. And then look at the stupidity that comes from both sides. You know what I'm saying? There's a stupidity on both sides, bro. And it's all to have these thinking a certain way, especially with Fox News, man. They be wilding.
And we do have a lot of Fox News supporters, so I do want to see one bias, but sometimes Fox News be extra wilding because they'll like both sides will be wilding. You know what I mean? I don't want to put it on one side. Sometimes I get a little more frustrated with Fox News because a little more blatant with it, but I do get good information from Fox News sometimes, and good information from CNN sometimes. The horrible information from them a lot more times. Well,
yeah.
And I have to continuously do research to get to the truth. It's like this person's all the way here, this person's here. Listen, we don't have to be all the way over there. We need to be in the middle. And right now, both sides are capitalizing off you because you don't think for yourself.
Because you're the viewer. Because you're the viewer, and they're trying to get you to stay on that channel for as long as possible. It's all about viewership and time. They are trying to get you to stay on that channel for as long as possible, and then they're trying to get you to accept the narrative that they're pushing, and not for you to have your own way of thinking.
If these senators and all these people are genuine, put term limits on yourself and everyone else. Let's do that. We need time for change. Right now, everyone's a little too comfortable. They going ham, and it does get upsetting when I hear these people like voter fraud has been existing for years and years and years. I'm like, bro, you've been senator for years and years and years. Why are you just? This is happening on your watch.
Are you bringing it up now?
So my thing, and I hate to talk about this because there's like such mixed reaction, but it has to be said. So I find it very weird when you talk about voter fraud. When President Donald Trump didn't win the popular election, and all the intelligence agencies said Russia had to make this happen. There was no stampede of the Capitol and all of this running around and this and election fraud to the max. But when this happens and there's no real strong proof or intelligence agency saying that another country hacked it, we're talking about all this voter fraud, but it wasn't this push when your person was in. It's different. Just like a pipeline just got hacked, was messing with gas prices on the East Coast. They're saying it's Russia. The Republicans are pushing hard on this. We need to get back at them, and we need to stand tall. And the administration's not doing enough. But the intelligence agency said that they messed with our presidential election, 2006.
Yeah.
So just be consistent. I'm not saying what happened or what did it. I'm not with that at all. But what I am saying is the lack of consistency shows you where everyone's part is at. Be an independent. Right. I agree with Republicans on certain points. I agree with Democrats on certain points. I disagree with both on a few. Challenge them. If they represent you, challenge them.
Ain't nobody want to challenge Donald Trump. All the Republicans want to be on his side, but nobody want to ask him a question and challenge him.
They just fired the GOP leader because she challenged him.
You see what happens when you challenge him?
And speaking of Donald Trump, Facebook did challenge Donald Trump. They came with a permanent ban on his Facebook account. Now, here's where my consistency comes. And my consistency is being an independent thinker. I disagree with that.
Right.
I'm going to tell you why I disagree. Because one, I believe subliminally, he could have used better words subliminally because he did put pressure when the Capitol rising up happening. And he didn't straight up tell people to do it. And either way, this was the president of the United States. He could potentially be president again. He has millions of supporters that believe in him, that follow him. And because you disagree with the message, we're shutting him down. So, okay, if you don't like Trump, a lot of people support him because they don't like him. They're just happy to do that. And they're like, it's going to be harder for him to win.
That don't make sense.
If they're doing this to someone with over 70 million followers, what are they going to do to you? This is just the opening of the door. If you keep looking at sides and sides instead of being American, and that's the point where it's not American, it's Democrat Republican. It almost sounds like the way they talk about each other, it sounds very like racist and discriminatory.
I find it funny. I find it funny how this is supposed to be the land of the free, right? But you're silencing somebody because they don't have the same viewpoints as you. And Facebook is supposed to be a hub where you're supposed to be able to express. All the social media platforms are supposed to be platforms where you're supposed to be able to express yourself however you want to. You don't have to agree with me. And we talked about this before, how nowadays everybody is so sensitive to the point where, well, my favorite color is blue. Well, my favorite color is red. Well, I don't like you. You're canceled because your favorite color is blue. Like my man's like, we have to move away from that because it's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse. If they can silence him, you don't think they can silence you? Come on. This the other day, I'm in one of these politics groups, right? I left a comment, and Facebook had told me that this comment, is something along the lines of like, it breaches our, damn, I don't know how to explain it, but like it goes against like the policies that we have put in place for Facebook. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It wasn't even that bad.
Yeah.
Like, come on. You telling me I can't disagree with somebody? That's what you're basically telling me. And if I disagree with you, something has to happen to me. And this all didn't start happening until this man got in the office and started moving how he wanted to move.
Well, I would say it was a lot more low key. It was happening. Yeah. It was just low key. Now it's just more kind of upfront where we're starting to realize.
Yeah.
I used to send you messages. Like, yo, look what they doing this time.
Yeah.
They block so
absolutely.
much of myself. You talk about political stuff that doesn't get the agenda.
Especially the parody that you had done.
Parodies they try to block.
And I'm like, what's wrong with this parody?
It's not Trump, it's
yeah, right. It's an alter ego. And it's creative. Yeah. And I'm saying, and this is what I mean, you're trying to block somebody's creative flow. You're trying to block somebody from potentially making money. You know what I'm saying? And that's crazy, bro. This is supposed to be the land of the free, and you're censoring somebody because they don't agree with what you stand for. It's ludicrous.
Censorship is real. And we have to stop being okay with it because it's happening to the side that you don't agree with. No, that's how they open the door and they get you. You have to stand up for each other. Stop. Remember, at the end of the day, we're all Americans. If you're in America, we're all humans. We're all people. Stop going hard on someone for disagreeing with you. Let's have respectful conversation. And that's a lot of things I appreciate when I be in the conversation, having debates, because I like debates just to spark thought. And a lot of them, I would say 95% have been respectful, and I appreciate it. Some people were like, go to hell and some other
because
stuff.
You want to know why it's been respectful? Because you freaking set the tone. Because you're not gonna allow yourself to be disrespected. we can keep it no, for real, straight up. Like, we can keep it civil. Like, we can have a civil discourse. It don't have to lead to something that can get out of hand. And that's the problem. And I'm glad you made a Twitter, because now you can see the stuff that I see. Now you can see the crap that I see. When somebody, especially cancel culture, when somebody disagrees, when you disagree with somebody, or you disagree with one of these people that's like a teenager or something, they automatically want to cancel you out. They automatically view you as something that's an opposition. Why do I have to be an opposition? Because I don't agree with everything that you say. That's a faulty mentality to have.
You'll never learn. Ask questions. If someone thinks differently, ask questions.
You'll never learn to get better if you think everybody's an opposition that don't agree with you.
Yep. Simple as that. Simple as that. This country was founded of different type of people. Let's not lose sight of that. Let's understand each other's perspective. Stop thinking you're right. Because from one angle, a 9 looks like a 9, and from another person's angle, it looks like a 6. You're saying, no, you're wrong, it's a 9. Like, we have to, and I had to get on Twitter just so we could reach people, because there's a lot of narratives. I was like, oh, this is horrible. So with that being said, follow me at King Kwame.
I'm so glad you made it.
What's your Twitter again so they can follow you too?
Wraith Cooper.
Wraith Cooper. So King Kwame 21. Wraith Cooper. Follow us, because
I'll be getting into so many freaking debates.
I'm with you out here now.
What do they call them? They call them Gen Z. They call them the Gen Z people or whatever, like the new age people, like in their new way of thinking. And listen, I don't have a problem with how somebody thinks.
Yeah.
But I'm not no Gen Z person. I'm not gonna think like you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I have my way of thinking. You have your way of thinking. We could coexist.
Yes.
But it starts becoming a problem when my way of thinking is somehow affecting how you live.
Yeah.
No. That's when the problem lies.
Yes. That's right. We have to learn to understand each other, and you will be so much brilliant for it. And a lot of the mainstream media and politicians, they're really trying to keep your frequency and your mindset down. Like, you know what I'm saying? So as people, let's talk to each other. Let's figure out why, right? Instead of, thinking that just because you heard it on TV, this is true. No, let's figure out why, because these are companies that have prestige. This is how you deliver it to your personal goal account.
The fact that nobody's asking why is one of the main problems.
Huge problem. Let's get a little more positive, man. Enough with these debates. Did you get to see the J. Cole documentary?
Yes. I got a question. Is there more than one part?
I think it's just one. It was kind of short. It was like 12
Oh,
minutes.
yo, I'm calling it now. J. Cole watches our podcast, bro.
Yeah.
The man, the man talked about having a schedule.
Yes, yeah.
I don't want to hear nothing no more. I don't want to hear nothing no more, bro. Niggas is watching our podcast, my G.
I'm telling you. Like we we on that same thing. And we be trying to tell you, the viewers, don't wait till like somebody album drop next year, a documentary comes to be like, oh wow, I learned it. Listen, we're giving all these keys to success about developing good habits and success, and we still got more major keys that are coming from you. A lot of hot topics.
But J. Cole making it seem like he not dropping no more albums after this.
Like he's retiring, right?
Yeah. I'm like, dang.
I feel like, honestly, he's doing something like with basketball too. But I do feel like he wants to dedicate more family time. And then he does realize he accomplished a lot in music. You know what I mean? He wants to spend more time with his family. So the hunger and the rap level, I even if he doesn't retire, I feel like he's not gonna push himself like the way he's pushed himself on this one. I feel like this is where he just gives another time, maybe one of the last times, where he gives everything he has. But I think from there he's gonna drop music, but he wants to put his family a lot more first, like make that the extreme priority. And he feels like it's gonna be hard to have that hunger because
that part in the video where he was like, oh, I need a schedule. I started dying. I was like, yo, this man watching our podcast, bro.
It's the same way, and I be feeling that. I make a schedule. I still be going over. I do like an 8-hour schedule every day, 5-6 days a week. I end up doing like 10, 11. My wife has to pull me away, and I'm trying to get better. I'm like, we got married, gotta spend some time, stuff like that. I really love what I do, but it's like you have to have a schedule, and it's gonna make you successful, or you'll be burnt out. Because when I didn't have a schedule, and I just lived in the studio, lived doing this and that, then I end up canceling future plans because I'm like, man, I'm not burnt out. So be effective. Don't just jump in there. And that goes
I like that documentary, man. I liked how he explained a lot of the stuff that was going on with him mentally and the place that he had to be at in order to be one of the best in the game. Like, especially that video that I think it was like 2015 when he's making Forest Hills Drive. And the man opened the door and it's like his whole room is a mess. And he's just at the studio. He's just like eyes like gazed at the laptop, just going hard. I'm like, yo, like you gotta have a different type of mentality, to get to that point. Like that's a different level of like dedication. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's up. I'm glad he showed people that.
I thought it was dope, but it was definitely inspirational. And it was good to know, like, probably watches our podcast, but the biggest thing I took from it is like we definitely on the same page of frequency. And the cool part that I thought was interesting is that he spent years in the game to get there, and we're still building in it, and we're there. You know what I'm saying? This is the stuff that we're talking about. We're going into the game with this mentality, and this is like what he's seen to develop after being in it for so long.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I thought that was dope.
Yeah. I'll definitely take away from that too, like what you just said. Like we coming into the game with that mentality of already having, you know, stuff planned out and having a schedule and things of that nature. You know, he kind of had to learn that. He kind of had to force himself to learn that, you know.
You know, it takes the focus and dedication.
It just shows that more people need to pay attention to our podcast when we dropping jewels.
Telling you.
So you can be ahead of the game.
Pay attention. Support the podcast. Send the cash out.
For real.
Support. I did want to talk, you know, because I'm doing this freestyle series.
Yes, sir.
Dropping a song every
going
week.
crazy.
Coming at me like, especially about, you know, the Snoop Dogg song, right, that I have. When is that going to be on all platforms, not just your website? Because obviously I said it so you really can't download it, so you got to keep going back to the website. And you know, that's on the Kwame Says Hi project, which is going to be right before I See You Win project. I expect to get that out in June. So what I've been doing is just dropping freestyles and not losing any.
Dropping fire too. That last freestyle you just dropped, yo, dripping sweat selling CDs.
Yo, for real. You know, it's a blessing because I didn't want to give you less content until the project dropped. I was like, I have to give it my all. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna give less. But I did decide was like, I don't want to give away too many hooks. So at least I feel better about that, you know, because I'm giving this away for free. This is my profession. So I was like, at least I won't give away the hooks, but the content, the verses, I'm putting my all to it, like it's album different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you going, you know, and even freestyles is crazy, man.
And even the song that you mentioned, the sorry not sorry freestyle, like, you know, and I want to kind of tell people because I see they really connect more when they hear the story of it. So I just kind of want to shed more light instead of just dropping music, never talking about it, you know, about these freestyles, right? Like the sorry not sorry freestyle. What inspired it was one DJ Khaled album drop. I was listening to it, and there's a standout song as Jay-Z and Nas. I respect what they did on it and their approach, and I truly feel skill-wise. You know what I'm saying? We still got more accomplishments to do, and I respect it. And I'm humbly saying this because my gift, you know, it comes from God. But skill-wise, I'm on that level. You know what I'm saying? And
absolutely.
The reason why I hopped on that beat is so when you hear this, you can't say Nas and Jay-Z are better than you and you don't belong here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that was my whole intent, going from the heart, just speaking my hunger, my pains, what I went through from sweating, selling CDs to like, even when I had nobody watching, I know one day this hip hop culture is gonna need me. Like what I'm bringing is education. You know what I mean? Because there's lack of substance and education in the culture, not just the music, but the culture and our people. So when I was selling these CDs, it's not just so I can make $1, but I'm like, they're gonna appreciate it later.
Oh, my fault. The dog.
And I was like, they're gonna appreciate it later, and that momentum is gonna come. You know, so I'm not apologizing for it, and also, you know, certain lines that like that really meant a lot. You know, when I'm telling, you know, I was like, my enemies, you know, they would rather suffer humiliation than gonna be like a freestyle, so I forget what I was saying. But it was like they would rather, you know, suffer humiliation than come to the captain. You know what I'm saying? Like they would rather fall through pride, you know, than being like, hey, look, I might have overstepped myself before. You know what I'm saying? I try to prove that you need me. Instead of bringing something to the table, I just try to get you to be like, oh, you need me, and it didn't work. And they would rather sink, and that's why I was like, they would rather capsize.
New Joe Boy.
Yeah, you know, and that's why we relate to it. Like, you know, because I use metaphors like with captain and capsize, and then Flo have them baptized. You know, but just saying like these people, there's so much pride. These people would rather die in pride and destroy their lives in pride. Just sticking here now and be like, yo, look, you know, I was wrong. Let's get it and do it. So I'm acknowledging, listen, I'm not sorry, and I always have forgiveness in my heart. I want to still see you win, whether you're enemy, friend, or foe. You know, And that's kind of where I was with the sorry, not sorry. You know what I'm saying? And also simply
My favorite line was the drip and sweat selling CDs, because I'm like, bro, I remember we used to be in Times Square, bro,
yeah.
for hours.
Yeah.
Hours.
Yeah.
I think it's like making sure we used to be like, yo, man, everybody that's sitting here, everybody that's in this area, they all gotta have a CD.
Yep. And we
I'm
sold them.
like,
We weren't getting it out for free. Like,
yeah.
Everyone.
And
like,
that's the type of grind you gotta have.
Mm-hmm.
And another reason why that line relates to me is like that's the type of grind that you need to have in order to get to where you really want to get to. That's the type of passion, grind, staying consistent, putting your head down, working. That's what you need to have in order to get to where you want to get to. You're not just gonna snap your fingers, it's gonna happen for you overnight. Remember how we talked about, I talked about I don't really like watching the Grammys because you see artists in their final form.
Yeah.
You don't see the like the baby. Everybody sees the baby now. He got all this jewelry iced out, got all this money. But you go back to the clips when he was walking around, putting the poster of his face and his mixtape on walls, and hopping out the van and giving people CDs, bro. You don't see that. You know what I'm saying? You just see the final product. Me and you see that because we appreciate the grind. You know what I'm saying? But you don't see that, bro. You don't see that.
That's why everybody looking for the quick route, instead of like actually getting it. Like, like one thing that kind of annoyed me too is like you have to have like wisdom and even understand the past, the craft or whatever you're going in. If you want to be different, what I always say is understand why people do it this way so you can do it different. Like so many people are focused on going viral on TikTok and Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Don't profit anything to feed your family. So your goal is just going viral on TikTok. Yes, I did it. I made it. No, that's not it.
Yeah.
You can use that as a platform to do.
That's just the beginning. That's just the beginning. It's like the NBA. Like when you get drafted, that ain't the end for you. That's the beginning. Now you got to put in more work to solidify your spot in the NBA. That's right. You know what I'm saying? Right. So like, feel me? Like you could, your aim could be to go viral on TikTok, but even with that, you got to be consistent. You got to have multiple videos. People don't just go viral off the first video they post. They usually have a slew of videos, and one of them jumps off, and then it creates a wave. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta put that work in.
And then if people start focusing on I'm gonna just go viral, do whatever to go viral, and you have a consistent catalog, guess what? If you're consistent, eventually it's gonna happen. And now instead of one video going viral and then maybe falling off the next week, all your videos can start going viral. Now you have a platform you can stand on. Because guess what? Guess who's getting the bag? The person that has one video that did 1 million, or the one that has 10 that just did 1 million. That's it.
You getting the bag.
Breaking news.
You getting the bag.
I'm telling
Breaking news. I'm rich.
Man, the last should be first and the first should be last, man. It is not a race. This is a marathon. You know what I'm saying? Stop selling your soul. You can be happy doing what you do and get to it. But it's a marathon. It's a
marathon, bro.
For a marathon, this is not for you.
And you gotta appreciate the marathon.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Remember how you talked about appreciating the journey? That's the main thing. Because if you don't appreciate the journey, you're not gonna want to do it. You're not gonna want to invest so much time into it if you don't appreciate it. Everybody loves appreciating final product, but nobody wants to appreciate the work it took to get to the final product.
Yes. All right.
So I just yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say just before we end it off, we hit our topic. I do want to, because I do want the supporters, the fans, the family to kind of understand, the story behind our music, like more giving that out. So one more story I do want to talk about. It was on the freestyle series that we're dropping every week. Make sure it's SoundCloud, Love First Entertainment.
Yes,
My
sir.
first page, haterdown.com, it's all there. But
Yes,
another
sir.
song that has been doing very well and a lot of feedback is our song Purpose, right?
Yes. Yes.
Now when you did the hook for Purpose, when we were going in and we did that song, kind of like let the people know like what was your mentality behind it? What inspired you to get in that zone, that frequency, to come up with those lyrics, that melody, all of it?
Well, the beat, first of all, like the original beat, I really like that beat. So it already had put me into a good vibe.
Yeah.
And I guess like the purpose, like, you know, one time for my fellas that are grinding, two times for my like it's just, you know, showing people, letting people know, like, listen, like I see you working. For the people that's really putting in them hours and working, I see you working. I see you putting in that time. You know, it doesn't go unnoticed. You know what I'm okay. It doesn't go unnoticed. You know what I'm saying? So that's where that came from. And then, you know, the whole purpose line, 3 times everybody on their purpose. Glad to see everybody work. It's just, you know, just shedding light that everybody that has found their purpose in life and is working diligently to maintain that purpose and to put more effort into it so that it can flourish into something, you know, beautiful. Because that's your main goal when you find your purpose. You want to put effort into it, you want to put time into it, you want to take care of it. It's like a child, you know what I'm saying? And so that it could flourish into something beautiful. So yeah, that's where it came from.
Yeah, no, I rock with that because I just love that encouraging feel. And you know, at first I was like a little upset. I'm like, bro, you come with this original melody on this beat that's not out. I was like, it was so hard. It was
that's another reason why I sometimes I don't like getting on
like industry beats like
yeah, because I kind of want to come with something that they haven't thought of.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So if I can come with something that they haven't thought of, then the person, hopefully Justin Bieber hear the song, he listens to it, he be like, dang, like, yo, why didn't I say that?
Exactly.
That's the reaction I want.
Yeah.
So I go with that mentality, you know?
And honestly, it was so fire and it was inspirational. I was like, we gotta go with it, you know, we gotta keep it. I'm like, yo, just make sure you have that for your album, you know what I mean? Don't get
of course.
You know
of course. I'm gonna be when my album come out, I'm gonna be hungry, bro. I'm gonna have J. Cole type songs, I'm gonna have Drake type songs. Especially when I heard the J. Cole documentary, I was like, yo, I'm about to get into my J. Cole bag, bro. I'm about to be super conscious, bro. Like, I forgot how nice J. Cole is with the pen. You know what I'm saying? Like, real.
And you know, and that Purpose track, I thought it was really dope just for the simple fact of encouragement, you know. And a lot of these freestyles that I've been doing are like really like hungry and stuff like that. And I thought that it was just a good breath of fresh air when we did that one because it was just like, instead of just the haters and maybe flexing on them or letting them know we see you, that you pretend like, it was just like, you know what? Great good vibes for the people that are working. This is like your pat on the back. Like, this is your anthem. Like, you can do a lot. You made it through this pandemic. You made it through life. Like, you made it through all of this. You know what I'm saying?
I think your freestyles is doing that too because your freestyles are doing a couple things. They're showcasing your skills, but you're also motivating people with how you're rapping, the hunger you're coming with. You're telling people like, yo, I want you to compete with me, but within that same breath, you're motivating them too. You know what I'm saying? So you're doing a bunch of things when you come out with your freestyle. It's not just showcasing your skills and you keeping up with these rappers. It's also letting people know, like, listen, like, I know what it's like to fail. I know what it's like to go through trials and tribulations. I know what it's like to go through trials and tribulations and come out on top. You're showing them all emotions. And that's how you capture people the most. When you could show them a whole bunch of emotions in one, especially when it's relatable. That's what captures people's attention. And I think you're doing that with the freestyle songs. That's why I like them so much. That's why I gotta get into my bag and start writing like crazy when I hear you.
And I appreciate the support. You know, I'm always appreciating the reposts and stuff. You know, and even like sometimes family, like we just feel like it's expected, but it means a lot, you know. So
Yeah.
I definitely appreciate that. And a lot of people I seen reposting and sharing that have never shared my music before, or maybe haven't been as consistent. You know,
Cause
I
they
see
see
you
how
doing it and it
hard you
matters.
grinding.
Yeah.
They see you got your foot on the gas pedal. It's no let up. They already know when they go to your Facebook account, when they go to your YouTube, this is what you coming with. It's no let up.
Yeah.
They have no choice but to support when you put it in their face constantly.
No, that was kind of my goal too, right? But like with music, so not only to encourage, but make music so good and just powerful, right? Music's
Yeah.
so powerful that even your haters have to play it. Like they need
Yeah.
this to get them to like, dang, I feel that line. So I don't like him, but I feel this music and line so much, and it gets me through my day. Like I need that. You know what I'm saying? Like I need
Right.
that.
Exactly.
Like my boy
Exactly.
Duel was telling me, it's like, yo, this person be hating on you, but you have this line in one of your hooks, and he wants to get a tattoo of it. I was like, you know, like that's the kind of music you want to do. And mind you, I got love for everybody, no matter who you are. It is always love on my side. Like hating can't do anything for you. It doesn't
Nope.
push you forward one bit.
People
It
that don't have a schedule and don't do nothing daily, those are the ones that hate.
they have time.
Because they have time and it's so easy to do.
Yeah.
People love doing things that are easy to do. It's so easy for me to walk up to you and be like, yo, your music is trash. It's hard for me to be like, yo, when I heard this song, I actually like this one line. It's hard for niggas to do that. But it's easy for niggas to be like, yo, your music trash, bro. Niggas love doing the easy stuff. Niggas don't want to do the hard stuff.
For real.
They want to stay away from that.
For real.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm telling you.
Thanks.
We out here, man. We getting hungrier. Man, freestyles weekly. Mommy says how I come in June. See you win.
Yeah.
Coming this summer, man.
Yo, man, we made another banger that might have to go on See You Win, bro.
Yo, every podcast we let y'all know. Look, we trying to finish the See You Win, man. Every time we hit the studio like every week. So every time we hit the studio, it's like it just keeps more fire. Like honestly, we might, because we don't want to get too many songs. You know, we want to give you a nice little precise thing, but we probably have to extend the track list a little bit just because the music making it just gotta be up there. It's powerful music. That's what it's
it's powerful. It got a good feel to it. It got a good vibe to it. Like it's the full package, bro.
Oh man.
Full package. I'm about to go listen to that joint right after this podcast. Yo, I got the speaker in the crib now. I'll be blasting that. Yo, excuse my language. I'll be blasting that.
Yes, I'll be bumping that in the web and everything. I'm like, yo, I'm about to play it on the speakers too. I'm just like, and I encourage my brothers, man, and everyone that does music, man. If y'all not motivated, listen to us and push that pen. Push that pen. Let's all motivate each other to push ourselves to places we've never been. Because sometimes we hear the music on radio and
you have to.
It's not the best. It doesn't sound like a lot of effort. Let's motivate each other then. Like stop selling.
You have to. You have to push yourself to get better, especially with music. The first track you make is not going to be the most fire track. Hell, the 20th track you make probably won't be the most. But if you stay at it, you study the game. Eventually, you'll get nice at it. But like I mentioned with people that like to hate, people don't want to do the hard stuff. They don't want to study. They don't want to put the work in. They don't want to do that stuff. So nothing comes out of it. They rather do the easy stuff.
Easy don't mean right. You know?
Yeah. Easy. Anything in life, easy does not have a good outcome. Look at the Matrix. Come on, bro. Like, let's be serious.
Yes. Man, I'm with you, man, and I feel like we're in a great inspirational zone. And like I said, like everything we talk about on this podcast, we encourage you, like, comment, share, engage with us.
Sir.
Whatever you want to hear us talk about, you know what I'm saying? Let us know. Even if you have like stuff to review, like we appreciate the support. We want to support you back.
Absolutely.
You just gotta come correct with it.
You just gotta come with a good amount of $100,000. Me and Kwame, we'll use a percentage of that to support your business.
For real. Donate to the Cash App. You know what I'm saying? It's going down. And what we've been doing, I mean, support brothers like us. Like we're staying positive. We're drug free. You know what I'm saying? We're just here to inspire and motivate. Inspire and motivate. And like I said, like we really love the message over what we're doing, and even building our brand to the point we've turned down sponsors. You know, we've been having sponsors reach out to us since like our first few episodes. You know, we're almost at a year, and
the thing is, the thing is, like, there's no way you can not like our message. It's too positive. There's no way you can not watch our video and not learn something from it.
Right.
It's impossible. At this point, it's impossible. Maybe episode 1 when we was just getting our feet wet. But now?
Episode 1, you can learn a lot. First thing we taught you was how to build a team and stay consistent.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right.
From episode 1. I mean, I don't really need everybody looking back, you know what I mean? I just coming out the pandemic, my barber wasn't around. You know what I'm saying?
My barber wasn't
Somebody
around.
hit me up like, yo, is everything okay? I guess I was making some aggressive music too.
see, this why, yo, bro, when my hair not looking right, bro, I'm coming with the do-rag on. Yo.
We don't need y'all going back to episode 1, but you know, listen to the audio. We do have our year anniversary episode coming, because June marks our year. So our next episode will probably be that. Well, depending on when we drop, because we actually shot a few episodes, so this will be in the mix. But Wraith, man, we definitely gonna recap the moment. Funniest moment, longest message.
Yo, you know what my moment is, bro. You know the moment I like.
We're gonna save it for them. We're gonna play the clip too after we talk about it. We're gonna play the clips and everything, you know. But I mean, we came far, man. We're a year in, and we're gonna keep going, man. Staying consistent, and we did this, man, as a team. You know, a lot of people, you try to take the easy way out alone and by yourself, but you accomplish more together as a team, and it requires more work.
Leave your ego.
I gotta build with him, he gotta build with me. It's more work, but it's worth it.
And you taught me this. And I learned this through experience. Leave your ego at the door. This video today, what we started off with. Leave your ego at the door, bro. Leave it at the door. You Leave your ego at the door, bro. For real.
Communication,
Yes.
Oh man, yeah, we're gonna thank you. And a lot of people gotta understand, like, even though y'all see me and Wraith on camera, it's a lot of support we get behind the scenes too. That helps to make this podcast possible.
There's a lot of communicating that we do behind the scenes.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of communication. The communication lines is open. If you want that cohesiveness, the communication lines got to stay open. You know what I'm saying? Period. Period. So, give you the keys, man.
I'm telling you, man, it's a good time, man. Just so happy, man. Thanking God in Jesus' name for this opportunity. We have a lot more keys to success coming your way. A lot more testimonies and victories, and of course, powerful music, man. That's gonna be the thing. We're not making regular music. Like, it's powerful music. It's gonna
nah, man. We making the music with a purpose.
Yes. Make sure y'all tune in. It's going down. Why hate when you can love first? Love First podcast.
Yeah.
What up, everyone? If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and hit that notification bell for the latest podcasts, music videos, and comedy skits. We got a lot more content coming your way.
We here all day, baby. Yeah. Subscribe to the channel, baby.
Yeah, we gotta
Shoulder first like a podcast.